can activity on social media, on say Facebook and Instagram, help your organic ranking on Google? Yes, it can. Would you like to make a profit though on social media? Well, yeah. How about making a profit on social media and having that activity bolster your Google organic ranking? That would be best, right? Hey there, guys. It's Nolan Walker here with Plumbing SEO Webmasters. And today I wanted to talk about an interesting topic called, I'm going to call this the type of plumber that knows how to market. So I talk to people every single day, and there's a big difference in the type of person I talk to. And as I've been doing this for almost a decade now, I really notice stark differences in most of the people I talk to. And, you know, most of the time when I'm talking to somebody, they don't get marketing at all. I'd say that 80% of the people don't even ever call. So they're out there kind of bouncing around, never really going to achieve their dreams because they can't figure out marketing and some basics on how to run the business. And out of the ones that do call, so the 20% that are going to kind of be more serious and try to market, out of the ones that we talk to anyway, we don't hear from 20% of all plumbers. I'm just talking about as a general population. I would argue that maybe 80% just don't ever really do much at all. And then about 20% call around. And we hear from some of those people. And 1 out of 100, man, 1 out of 100 or so just banging on all cylinders, just isn't scared, hasn't come up with weird narratives, gonna search and figure it out and manage their business well. And I'll say this about it, you might not be able to grow past a certain point if you can't figure out how to like manage processes and people and other things, and that's okay. But if somebody wants to get up to like 15 trucks, 25 trucks or something like that, that's a big difference than somebody running 2 or 3, because a lot of people can manage 2 or 3 and not have the best management skills. I do think somebody can do pretty good marketing and get up to 4 or 5 trucks and have a pretty good life if they watch their expenses and stuff. I'm going to break down some of what I'm talking about and what's this guy that's 1 out of 100 and what are the people in between. So if it were me and I was marketing, I would think I'd like to try everything. I would throttle myself based upon how good the return was and how well I'm able to manage the internal expenses in my company and make sure that more leads doesn't deteriorate the effectiveness of it. So if I got 5 calls a day and I'm a plumber, I'm going to be able to handle every single one of those, no problem. If I got 30 calls a day and I start hiring people and I don't track it well, I could see my margins decrease to where it wasn't worth it for me. So I will say this, the individual that does this, that wants to grow, and if you're a plumber that wants to get really 3 trucks or more on the road, and in my opinion, you're gonna have to have that unless you're just gonna retire someday and from your back, not, you know, from being old and not being able to work. Not retire from, you know, from making money and retiring young, or holding on to a business for your next generation or until you're older because you want to and you're not performing the labor. So if you're going to go up, and I don't think I really talk to anybody that doesn't want to have several trucks at least, because what I just laid out will happen to you. So happen to anybody. So if you cannot manage a little bit and get enough leads in to get 3 or 4 trucks on the road, you're just going to be a guy that works until you can't work anymore. And that's okay too, if that's what you want to do, frankly. I mean, I don't have an issue with that per se. We work with a lot of guys that just have several, and I work with a lot of startup guys that have just themselves working. But I can tell you that the majority of the people that we talk to, I mean, vast majority, want to put more trucks on the road. So that's going to start by marketing. That's going to be hampered by your ability to manage it. But you can learn that as you get older and get better at it, get software and other things. So let's talk about the marketing side of it for a minute, because that's what I do, okay? So I've told you before, if you've listened to me, that SEO and search engine optimization, that's showing up on the map and showing up in organic, that is good for everybody. Everybody should have that. There isn't anybody that doesn't work for it. And I hear a lot of preconceived notions like nobody goes, I heard this today, nobody goes underneath the maps. Well, yeah, they do. Go look and read on yourself. Has it decreased from what it was years ago? Yes. But about 87% of people go to Google to search for home services, plumbing. And about 75% of those people skip the paid. So that's another preconceived notion. I want to talk about this as I talk about the type of plumber that knows how to market. So the guy that starts getting all these preconceived notions and saying, oh, this and that, and they go to this only, and I hate this lead service and that one, and I do this only, or they skip, everybody clicks on paid. Well, about 25% click on paid. And out of the ones that go to organic, and mapping is an organic item, about half go to mapping, and about half go to your webpage keyword content. And so it's all very important. And somebody that's going to market really well doesn't call up and start saying, I've been screwed around by everybody, therefore I won't do this anymore, and I won't do that anymore, and I only do this, and forget these guys. Now, if I went and tried a lead source and they messed me around, I wouldn't keep doing it, but I got to tell you guys, I would try it again in 3 or 4 years. I would, because there's only like a dozen things you can try, and you've got to get a pretty good amount of them going. I would argue that a lot of times, I'll finish up on organic here, but in a minute, but a lot of times people don't do well, you know, they just have preconceived notions. They don't do well with some of the lead sources. Is it as good of return as organic? No, but it might be because they don't convert it well. You can't just slam leads over to somebody and not spot check and listen to the phone calls. You've got to track somebody with call tracking stuff. So if you're going to get more leads, and especially if you get leads that cost more, if you're going to have them convert, you got to watch your processes. So for SEO, search engine optimization, you have your design, your code base, your content, your Google map, you have branding, you have reviews. We have something called brand review, BRANDREVU, brand reviews spelled REVU.com. It's fantastic, helps organic, helps the map show up, helps get more reviews because you're texting the clients and emailing them, which helps mapping along with the signals from the check-ins and the captions and the photos. I'm not going to go into all that right now. All that's very helpful though. And organic is the number one thing for everybody. Number 2 or 3 might be like Facebook and Instagram combined with like, I'm going to throw in Nextdoor. I have something called level 2 branding, and it allows somebody to go for stuff that's really specific and tight with the money, because your money can just go poof and go away. Now, a lot of guys will spend $20,000, $30,000 on just pay-per-click. The one out, and by the way, guys, some of these are like the 1 out of the 100 people, not the dumb ones necessarily. I know that I like all of this as long as it works for the individual. Organic will work for anybody, and after you do that, then the return on investment gets a little bit lower, and you have to be able to convert that. But you really should work on call tracking systems and computer monitoring systems. I think I can think of a few. That I'm not necessarily recommending any of them, but if you want to monitor your people in your office, as long as it's your computer and your time, you'll have to check with the laws in your state. But one is Clockify, Clockify, like I think it's CLOCKIFY. There's another one called Active Track, and I think that's Active and TRAK. And I know there's some more, but these monitor the people maybe that you have employed on your computers that you own while they're working, so that you can make sure that they're doing the work. And then you can listen to calls and do call tracking. And gosh, I'm going to try to remember a couple of those. I think one's Conversa, and I can't remember another one. I know I'll try to think of another one before the end of this. But guys, if you're going to start working on spending money on leads, so we left organic, which is a really good deal for everybody. It doesn't cost a lot to get a great return. And now we're over to Facebook and Instagram and Nextdoor. And let's say that we're spending $1,000 a month there. We're being really specific and tight with our money, but we're doing stuff like pixel tracking. That's where people that go to the website get followed around Facebook and Instagram with your ad. And we're doing stuff like looking for referral partners, like real estate agents, maybe other contractors, people that can refer you over and over and over again. We're not looking for a bunch. We're looking like for several hundred, 500 max, 1,000 maybe. The reason you're not going to get a ton of these is because if you get like 25,000 followers on Facebook, Instagram, you've got to pay to distribute posts to them so that you can brand to those people. It gets expensive, and as the person can't do more than give you their own plumbing business, it won't work for you on the, but social media can be great. That's why I call it level 2 branding. You can have a whole group of people working, and you might be able to brand in like a particular neighborhood or something too. Now, and the third one I'd go after is pay-per-click, or maybe second. Those interchange for me. Anyway, so pay-per-click or maybe even pay-per-call. I like that a little bit better. And we're a Google AdWords partner, and we can definitely help with that. And again, the click will cost a little more, but it can work for you. And I'm going to sum some of this up. I want you to understand some of it a little bit better. You might buy leads from Home Advisor, Angie's List, Yelp, or Thumbtack. And man, people get really, I don't know, heated about this. Some people love these, some people don't. And I'm not here to talk good or bad about it. We don't help with these, but they could be part of a healthy online marketing presence. And guys, if you haven't tried some of these in several years, since you're looking at organic and you're doing content and design and mapping and check-ins, which is your reviews, to get your map and your organic to show up, and then you're doing pay-per-click and pay-per-call, maybe getting your map to show up and paid on Google, maybe going to Google Guaranteed. So you got like 4 things over here. You got 4 things on organic. And you got like Facebook and Instagram, and you've got, you know, Nextdoor, and you've got some marketing you can do there, like a dozen things, right? And then you got Home Advisor, and Angie's List, and Yelp, and Thumbtack. It's like 16 things. So guys, man, like if you tried something, like back in the day, I would try, before all this started, I do direct mail and then not like it. I'd pull out my direct mail machine, try it again 2 years later, and try it again 2 years later, and try it again 2 years later, because you don't know if the platform changes. Maybe you've got better at marketing. Maybe you did something wrong on a couple of these. You know, I don't know, but there's not enough here if you're going to put 5 trucks on the road to not go through and check them. Now, be careful and don't just fork over money and say, oh, I'll give you 30,000 or even 3,000 a month on a 6-month guarantee or a commitment. Don't do that. Just go try it for a month. The only thing I'll contest here is maybe a couple of months max. You know, if you're going to brand on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, it's going to take a little bit longer. We help with that too, by the way. We have a product called Level 2 Branding where we manage something where I'm tight with your money, because you can go in there and just start forking over money, have a really bad plan, not brand anybody, and social media just fall apart for you. Same thing on pay-per-click. You might go towards pay-per-call instead of just throwing money at website clicks. It makes a difference. Tight with money there too. But if you're going to brand on Facebook, Instagram, it's going to take like 6 months or something, but the return's fantastic. If you're going to do something on Home Advisor, Angie's List, Yelp, Thumbtack, you're also going to have to stay for a little while so you can get your reputation with some reviews up on that platform. So it might take a little while before you find out if some of these work or not. That's why that SEO is really inexpensive and a great place to start. And pay-per-click or pay-per-call on Google, which we can help you with, is a direct response thing. Those are kind of the top 2 because of that. Organic's inexpensive and can return greatly. Pay-per-click can return quickly. And then you want to brand your company. And so we have a product called Level 2 Branding that cost about $1,000 or a little less. And then you're not overspending. It's a smart plan, not just some jerk that works at a digital marketing agency saying, hey, come on down and spend $6,000 and sign up for 6 months and put a little money down and then just let it ride. And then when you call up dying because it's not working, they say, oh, just wait longer. And then some of them, when you call back, they'll say, you're too cheap. You need to spend more money. Guys, I hear this all the time. So then I get the baggage. I get people calling up and going, well, I don't like these lead companies. I don't like this SEO stuff. I only want to buy leads only. So there's a great one. So today I had a call, and nice guy. I like him, and I have something I can do with him. But he's getting charged $8,000 per week with about 15 trucks on the road. I won't even mention what state he's from, but he's getting charged from a lead-based company that everybody's heard of, and he's getting charged about $8,000 a week. And what's remarkable to me is how someone's brain can get so, and I understand you're on tilt, you're on edge, you're transferring these feelings to me or, Plumbing SEO Webmasters, but it doesn't have anything to do with that except bad experiences that you had in the past. And because of those bad experiences, you're cutting off the ability to do the marketing properly or to try again. So this individual that already pays this ridiculous amount per week in leads that is diminishing his return on investment, which is why he called, by the way. It wasn't like I'm paying $8,000 and I'm knocking it out of the park. It's like I'm paying $8,000 and I'm hurting. I'm not making the profit I was before. I'm worried because the trending for what they're charging me is going like this. And because of these experiences I had, didn't want to talk about SEO, didn't want to talk about other stuff. Only wanted to buy a lead, just in this really circular logic mindset that gets stuck in a rut and really is not the right way to think about taking your brand to the next level online, to digitally market your brand to the best of your ability for the best return on investment. And so I reach people that, and this is still an aggressive guy that's making money. So it's not like he's a bad client for me or anything like that. I don't have that issue with it. I'm just saying he could be the 1 in 100 guy that really understood it. Just because he didn't show up in SEO before and people screwed him around doesn't mean he can't show up. And I got to tell you, how does someone get to where they're like, I don't trust anybody on this best major category, and therefore I'm only going to do this over here. And I'm going to miss the number one thing. And here's a logical thing if you're thinking, well, Nolan, I understand. Well, how do the other plumbers get up in ranking? How do people get to a dominant place where they're on pack 3 a lot or all the time, depending on the size of the market, and show up for organic a lot and have hundreds of reviews, and it all happens harmoniously? He had cut me off and not allowed me to discuss organic or brand review or getting reviews and getting map to pop up or check-ins and how that affects map and the organic. All that was out the door on this guy. So he's going to probably stay in business, but he's going to have a much harder time than the guy in this large market. And he's in a market of over about 1 million or so, I think. Everybody's heard of the town he was in. And this market that he was in, he's probably not going to do well or ever show up in organic because he has some bad experiences and decided to ignore that category entirely. So that he operates in one small category. I'm going to buy leads only because people have hurt me before, and I'm so damaged by it that I can't think straight. And I've decided to cut myself off from that and put my fingers in my ear and not listen to anything else. And so there's very reputable companies like us and a few. There's mostly bad companies, and that is true. But by the time somebody looks around and finds us, they're in a state of 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 10. And out of I kind of rate people on that, and I don't dog them for it. I understand that everybody's where they're at. So some people come in and probably should just start at organic only and not do anything else. Maybe how much money they've had. It could be emotionally where they are from what they've dealt with before. And then other people come in and do more. And as you grow, you can continue to grow the business. And if you continue to grow the business, I do think that people can find other leads that work for them. I'm not the type of guy to come in and say, hey, you should do this or you should do that. I won't even dog the lead sources. A lot of people that you call go, oh, don't do business with the lead sources. Well, why not? It might work for somebody, and it does work for a lot of people well. It could be a healthy part of an overall marketing plan. And so I don't make a dime for it. And I'm not dogging them or pushing them. I can tell you that I talked to somebody today that is getting charged an enormous amount of money and upset. I talked to someone else that pays $20,000 or $30,000 a month to that was a plumber that pays 20 or 30 grand a month on average in pay-per-click in a different market, and they're very happy with it. And so you have one guy. It just depends on the individual, depends on how well you return it. And if you can conceptualize all this properly and get good service and have SEO begin to work to get your map to show up, get your organic, because I'm telling you, it's hundreds of % less expensive to do that. You then can bolster it by level 2 branding, which bolsters the organic and can pull out of social media. I really am I do think that you can bolster organic by doing social media activity that doesn't make you money. However, I'd hate to see somebody spend money in social media and not make any money directly off of it, just to maybe think that it helped the organic presence. Does activity on social media, or let me rephrase it, can activity on social media, on say Facebook and Instagram, help your organic ranking on Google? Yes, it can. Would you like to make a profit though on social media? Well, yeah. How about making a profit on social media and having that activity bolster your Google organic ranking? That would be best, right? And how about having pay-per-click actually return with somebody really tight with your money? And by the way, month to month, I might add, and transparent. If anybody's listened to me at all, please do not ever give your money for paid marketing services directly to somebody. Have the bill for Google come out of your card and the charge for the management to come out separately. It's called transparent billing as opposed to black box billing. It's important that you do it that way. Otherwise, I'm telling you that a large percentage of people, without naming any digital marketing agency, will take 50% or more of your money. That is industry standard in the last several years. People say, oh no, I see reports. No, you don't. You don't see a Google report. The only way to know for sure is get your card directly with Google. You say, hey, how much is pay-per-click management? Which we'd be happy to do it for you. I'm saying if you talk to somebody else to say, I want your fee separate and I want my card to go directly to Google. Oh yeah, we do it that way. Okay, put it in writing. I want to see it in writing first, and then I want to see the debits come directly out of my account from Google. Better not come from you, and I want it in writing. That way, because somebody comes in, you're going to spend $5,000, they'll take $2,800 of it. Just boom, your money's just gone, and you think that you spent it, and it's just in somebody's pocket. So be careful on how you do spend this stuff. If I'm going to try leads for me, I'm going to try like a little bit of time. I don't want to sign a long-term agreement. I want to get in one of the least expensive things I can. I want to track those calls, take them myself, and see if I can find out where they're coming from. That's another thing I want to talk about, guys. If you're not willing to learn and give respect for marketing that you have, you're in trouble there too. So you've got to get, I can brand my company and get it up in organic and mapping. Yes, you can. And then when you get it up there, respect the process that got it up there. Was it plumbing, SEO, Webmasters helping you? Doing regular chores, keeping things up to date on your code base and content, working on your Google account, updating design, supplying you with software like Brand Review, helping you when you need changes? Respect that process. Understand what happened, what went into it to help you put another truck on the road or two, or one per year. I've got a plumber in West LA area, Beverly Hills area, that puts a truck on every year. He told me that after he'd already been with me 5 years. He puts a truck on every year and constantly grows because he constantly gets new business in and gets repeat traffic. That's what you want to have happen. He's a nice client. I love him. And he's still with us. He's a great guy. So if pay-per-click does it, respect that. If one of these other lead sources do, I'll give you an idea about one of the lead sources, by the way. Oh, all the leads aren't real. They give them to multiple people. Try to remove that emotional response from whether it makes you a lot of money or not. Okay, so you have to contest some leads. I hear you. And this particular one sells them to multiple people. Okay, so can you make money with it? Does it get a good return? Is it frustrating? Yeah, maybe. Does it return? Maybe. Maybe not. If it doesn't, don't pay for it. That's all. So, you know, the type of plumber that knows how to market probably doesn't get overly emotional and methodically goes through and finds out what works best for him or her. Okay. Complaining and quitting is much worse than being positive and fighting. Be positive and fight. Okay. Find somebody good like us to work with you. we don't put people in a position to get screwed around. We're transparent billing. We're $99 to start. That's not what our monthly fee is. That's just a starter fee. And we have a higher monthly fee, but it's still extremely competitive. Depends on what the service is and what you're doing. But most of the time, we're much less than $1,000, depending on what all we're doing for the organic side. And then we charge for pay-per-click management. And then we do some other stuff like level 2 branding with social media. So, you know, I think I kind of summed it up there. I hope you understand, for me, the difference is the attitude of the person that calls and someone trying to think about it and work through it. You have SEO, 3 or 4 things that need to keep going. And there's hundreds of other little details with that, by the way, but 3 or 4 things you need to be worried about. Your mapping, your organic, your reviews, your branding, and your check-ins. So there's hundreds of details behind that. Same thing with PPC, pay-per-click, Google guaranteed, pay-per-call, pay on mapping. And there's hundreds of things behind that, but those are the 4 things for you. Find a good company to help you. Don't get too bent if you get screwed around. It's part of doing business, unfortunately. Seems to be. Has been for me, has been for other people. You find services you like. Not every person that I have mowed my lawn does a good job. That doesn't mean I give up on my lawn and just have weeds everywhere. I get a different one. I switched out a guy that got complacent at the first this year. Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, social media format, it can work. There's hundreds of things in that, but there's several things you're going to try. And the lead sources. I really think that on the lead sources, there's one that should work for you. I do honestly kind of think that, but if it doesn't work and you don't like the format, there's enough other stuff that you can do. So be positive, really think about it. Make sure you're not spinning future tripping false narratives. Ever heard of future tripping, where you're coming up with negativity before it even happens and you're coming up with a false narrative that it isn't there? So just based upon stuff that you've had, that you've got PTSD from previous experiences. So be positive, get leads in, track them. Remember we were talking about tracking? Guys, I can't remember the other name, but there's you can put a phone call tracking as your phone number, and they're very inexpensive, like $10 a month, and you can listen to every call to make sure the people that are answering the phone for you are doing a great job. Not a good job, a great job of converting people into appointments. Some of the best stuff I hear that when we listen to stuff is that people say, oh yeah, we can do that repair and we service that part of town. Oh, how much is it? I want a price. Well, let me get your information. I'll have a tech in the field call you within 5 to 10 minutes. That's an excellent close. Person on the phone doesn't have to be an expert and you're not spitting out prices. And they come to you, they call you up and go, oh, hey, it's just this much to come out, or this much and I apply it to your bill, or whatever. And then you get a job out of it. So if you call up and go, well, I'm kind of cranky today. I don't really want to talk to you. And man, I'm $180, you know. And will you apply it to the bill? Nah, I don't feel like it today. Okay, we're going to call around. I'll call you back if we need you. That's how you don't want to do it. You know, you're looking to pick up more clients. I understand, I think, I don't know, I'm not a plumber, but I think I can understand. I talk to people when they're not going to buy and try to help them. If they're too new, they're not going to do anything. So they call up and they need a hose bib replaced. And you're like, oh man, hose bib, that sucks, you know. Well, guys, if you're not building your business, if you're not done, the hose bib guy, if you're nice to him, calls you on the next deal. You know, you go out there, you know, I don't know. Do you carry enough hose bibs to find out? You got to go buy 3, 4 different sizes of hose bibs, maybe. But anyway, you know, so convert the stuff when they come in and listen to it and really work your marketing. Keep your head clear and try to take the emotion out of it. Say, what can I do to help myself in marketing today so I can grow my plumbing business, so I can get 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 trucks on the road and live the dreams that I set out to when I started my own business. Guys, I'd love to hear from you. My name's Nolan Walker. I will hopefully hear from you in the future. I hope you come listen to some more of this good stuff. Thank you.